Delivery, ma'am. I'm just starting the show now. Ma'am, please. Ma'am, you can start.
Good evening, everyone. I, Dr. Gunjan Singh, from the family of Aryan International School, was is highly privileged to welcome all the panel speakers in this webinar. I first of all want to welcome Mr. Debashish Ghosh, who is a fellow member of ICAI, a member of Institute of Internal Auditors USA, associate member of Certified Fraud Examiner Alumni of St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. Presently, he is the co-chairman of National Council of Internal Audit and Risk Management, SOCHAM. Welcome, sir. Please guide our students with more and more of your knowledge, and please share your experiences with us. We are highly privileged to listen to you today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the nice words. I am also looking forward to this.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I have listened a lot, but first time I'm coming online face to face to you, sir.
Thank you.
So, in a succession, I'll welcome Mr. Krishnan Mishra, Staff Business Development Program. From the Financial School, please share your experience so that they also have a good guidance over their career opportunities. I'll welcome Mr. N. Muralidharan, who is associated with the education sector for more than 25 years, who provides consultancy to the teachers and to the school for upgrading the education scenario in the country. He has authored 6 books and even published many of the research papers. He has a specialization, especially over the educational research, and he keeps on guiding teachers regarding their improvement in their education world. Welcome you, sir, from my side and from my school side. Welcome you, sir, and I request all the guests, and I'm feeling highly privileged from my side, from my we got this for 1.5 pandemic situation also.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that wonderful welcome and introductions. At the outset, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Aryan International School, Varanasi, for hosting today's webinar. Special thanks to Mr. Chopra for rendering support to host this show. We have a very good response to this event, and I'm thankful to each of you for taking out your time to attend this event. I'll begin with the idea of hosting this event. What is the purpose of this event? As you're aware, there is so much gloom all around. We want to build some positive vibes in this situation. We want to talk about making best of the situation. We want to discuss about the new opportunities that can be availed in this time. Today, we will be interacting with industry leaders on career and study opportunities that you can avail of in this pandemic time. We are going to have eminent panelists joining us today on our show. And remember, they are also as excited to take your questions. Please type your questions in the question and answer chat box. We will try to pick as many questions as possible to present before the panelists. Please do type in your name along with the questions. Before we begin with our first panelist, we would like our audience to know that you will be awarded a certificate of participation. To get the certificate, you need to fill in the feedback form link, which will be displayed at the end of this program. Stay tuned and look forward to an exciting evening. So let's move to our first guest of the evening. Welcome, Debashish sir.
Hi, good evening, all. I am really excited to actually go back to my. It looks like I'm going back to my school days, and it's a proud privilege to address all of you. You see, all of us are going through a total different lifestyle. We are all lots. You may be already having a lot of internet and chatting and all that, but we are also adapting to the new world of digital learning, digital talking. You see, we never thought of the doing board meetings, AGMs in virtual mode. Now we are doing the board meetings where people are joining from Delhi, even from abroad. And in my company, the AGM is on 19th of September, which will be a virtual AGM. So basically, these are the new things we are adopting to. uh, COVID, we have been talking about COVID, and it is definitely a pandemic which has affected each one of us in some way or other, be it health-wise, because many of us may be having something, but it is not yet detected. So my first and foremost thing is keep safe and stay home. Whatever you are doing, you take proper precautions. And you see, today the topic is what are the opportunities of commerce students in this era. I think, yeah.
Sir, I would, if you don't mind, we will take it so that, I mean, it's easier. We'll keep it in a question answer format because we have got a lot of questions that we want to ask you.
Sure, absolutely.
So we would like to take it in a question answer format.
Sure.
So, sir, I mean, and because we also want the students to know the kind of field that you're coming in from. So you have been actively involved in the field of finance and accountancy field for the past 30 years in various roles. Yes. And you have seen the economy for last 30 years now. You have seen the ups and downs. You have seen so many organizations come up and grow into multinationals also. So can you please explain to our young audience here how fortunate they are having commerce stream as their career choice?
You see, first and foremost, I would say that when the traditional way everybody wanted to start understanding the career or even thinking of a career when they are in class 11 or 12. So from that time, people try to understand where I am. Just to give a small this thing, in our times, we are guided by our parents generally, but now you are more intelligent and more knowledgeable in terms of the opportunities. So you decide yourselves what are the career opportunities. Now you see, as far as commerce is concerned, commerce has a unique advantage of having an acumen of the business, knowing how the money flows, how money goes. And there's a, you see, commerce stream itself has a definitely big opportunity in terms of the actual profitability of the business, knowing that very well. So traditionally, if you see, all the CEOs were coming from the sales and marketing background. That was the norm. But if you see, at least 30 years, 20 years back, it was the mostly the engineering or the sales and marketing background people were at the top of the affairs. But if you see last 10 years, there has been quite a change, and people from people who have a professional qualification from the commerce background are coming up at the top. We have several examples of those. Mr. Sridharan of TCS, Gopinathan, rather Mr. Gopinathan of TCS, Mr. Sunil Mathur of Siemens. There are several examples. And
Right,
you
sir.
see, just to make it short, because we have to address so many. You see, for commerce students, there are ample number of courses, and each course give you different advantages, and even advantage is that you go on adding your courses. For engineering and other stream, there is a limitation that after some time you can't go on adding your degrees. But here you can add, one chartered accountant can add a degree of company secretary, he can go for MBA, he can go for CFE, CIA, so many. All these additional degrees give you advantage in the job market. It gives advantage in your current employment,
Right.
and
So,
obviously your marketability goes up.
so, sir, I mean, as you were rightly pointing out, I just would like to know because you rightly said that science students, although they seem to have, I mean, as you said that, I mean, not much of a opportunity at a later point of time, but then they have a lot of options available when they complete the school. A science student has so many opportunities. So, can you highlight the options that are available to the commerce students after they complete their class 12?
Yeah, you see, after completion of the class 12, there are, first of all, one can go into the graduation, which is a graduation degree is always important to have, and most of the professional bodies want a graduate degree before they certify somebody. So you have chartered accountants, you have cost accountants, you have company secretaries. These are traditionally professional degrees which are of repute, and it is recognized all over the world. Even a chartered
Right.
accountant who is certified from India is recognized as well elsewhere. Obviously, to practice in a country, you need to have affiliation from that particular country.
Right.
Then if somebody wants to go into the field of teaching, coaching, one can go on adding their master degree, PhD in commerce. Then you have other certifications like ACCA. ACCA is a recognized body, yeah, and they are doing very well all over the world. So ACCA is another certification where you can go and do. The CIA, Certified Internal Auditor, is a very well-known degree all over the world. Unfortunately, in India, the popularity is not so high. We have around 4 lakh, for 4,000 members here for CIA, but all over the world it is 2 lakh. Then obviously one can do, sitting in India only, they can do CPAs of different countries, which will give opportunities in MNCs, and they can, if they want to go abroad and work in Canada, in US, they can acquire CPAs. So there are
So,
several like
right.
that.
So I understand. So I think it's a very big, vast area that they have, and we'll be taking up a few of those areas that we can highlight, some of the important ones. So, but
Sure.
then keeping in view that, I mean, because the most of the areas that you are talking about, it seemed to center around finance and accountancy.
Yeah.
So majority of the options that is available for commerce students seem to center around finance and accountancy. Does this mean that the students can aspire to grow better in the field of finance and accountancy? Is the
You
scope
see,
better in finance and accountancy?
obviously, commerce has a age in the finance and accountancy, but we should not forget a big area, that is tax. The finance commerce students has a age over anybody else. Actually, nobody has got that knowledge of tax as the commerce students has. So tax is a huge area. We have direct taxes, we have indirect taxes, and these, people are, even professionals like us, while filing income tax return, we tend to consult another person, just
Right.
dekh lo whether everything is fine. So that is the way. If everybody is looking for a help in their tax returns, and just think over the corporates and other, so many small companies,
Right.
section 8 companies and others. So
Mhm.
tax is a big area for commerce students.
Right.
And I am just touching about Indian tax. If you see US tax is mostly outsourced, to India, and
Okay.
the big four, so to call, like PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, so forth. So many firms are doing the outsourcing work for US firms, individuals sitting over in India, and this is a domain of commerce graduates. Even they, for those, because those are so structured thing, you will find many tax consultant who are not professionally qualified, means they are not chartered cost or company secretary, but they are commerce graduate. They have had the knowledge, because you see your BCom courses are also very wide, so you cover all the aspects. So these are area. Then accounting outsourcing. Accounting outsourcing is an area which is happening, and you see when this pandemic is going on, you can well understand that people are doing from home everything. So you need not to have so many people sitting at your office. You can do it from outside. If you have a technical knowledge, you can go about it.
Correct.
So,
okay. So, sir, you were mentioning in your earlier answer about that the importance of the organization about internal audit. You mentioned about the certified internal auditor as well. So, I mean, what is the qualification required to become an internal auditor?
You see, as of now in India, there is no this thing specific requirement for internal auditors qualification. So even a chartered accountant, a cost accountant, company secretary can be an internal auditor. So what has happened basically, traditionally CAs were dominating the internal audit field, and but about a couple of years back, it has been open to company secretaries and cost accountant as well. But if I may mention that the CIA, what I was talking about, the Institute of Internal Auditors, which is headquarters in Florida, USA, which has got 2 lakhs members, this is a worldwide recognized degree. And you see, it gives a huge network of people and database of your knowledge bank. So those are very useful, and in a competitive world, if somebody wants to pursue the career in internal audit, definitely CIA degree is a booster. Definitely a booster.
Right. Okay, sir. I understand that you cleared your chartered accountancy in the first attempt. So, I mean, at a very young age, you cleared it. So, which is, I mean, something that most of the students aspire for. But today, I mean, there is so much of craze for CA in India. Most of the students, when you talk about commerce, they are thinking about CA. But yet, out of the total number of CA, which is again a big surprise factor, that in a country which has such a big population and so many taxpayers, we have only 2,75,000 CA in our country. And out of the 2,75,000, also only 60% are not practicing. More than 60% are not practicing CAs. They are into some other profession. So why is this dichotomy? Why this craze on one side for CA and the other side, the CAs are not actually working as a practicing professional?
There are first and foremost, I would say, CA has a very less gestation period, in the sense that if somebody starts in the first year of BCom, just after enrolling into the BCom course, then somebody starts CA. Within 3 years, he will be able to clear CA, and after that, so they are simultaneously your commerce graduation degree and CA degree is with you. So in case of other profession, what happens generally after the graduation, you need to do a post graduation. But here with the your graduation degree, you are getting a professional degree. So by the age of 21, 22, you are employable. So you will get a job, and starting salary range of CAs are reasonably good. So that what attracts students towards CA. Now, coming to the profession and the industry, you see, it's a dichotomy which we had also in our earlier career. And what happened when we started, I started with a big 4 audit firm. but once I got into a industry, we jumped into the industry. Now, there is a, you see, there is a charm of working in a company where the setup is more formal and people love to have a formal setup. But for a youngster to start his own practice, he has to give a lot of energy, time to the profession. But one thing I can say definitely, the people, even my friends who have stuck to the profession, they have done exceedingly well. And you see, it is just like lawyers. You see lawyers with the gray hair, the doctors with a gray hair are more in demand than say a person working in an industry retires at the age of 58, 60. But for if somebody is working in the as a professional, as an independent capacity or in a capacity where in a firm, so he can go on till his health permits.
Right. Sir, I think we will bring in our second panelist here, Mr. Kishan Mishra, and take his opinion on this particular topic. Kishan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Murli. Good evening, everyone.
Right. Kishan, we were discussing with Debshis sir about the craze for CA and the fact that there is a big dichotomy existing in the market today where although the craze is there on high on one side, the other side, the CAs prefer not to practice on their own. They move into other professions. So we were discussing about that. And you being from ACCA, which I understand is an international chartered accountancy. It is equivalent to chartered accountancy in UK, and you have a good presence across the world. So can you just explain to our young audience here what ACCA is all about?
Okay, thanks Murli, and thanks Mr. Debashish for taking us through the entire journey of yours and how accountancy can be a good career for the common students. So you actually covered all of them. But let me come back to from the point we have to start off, and Mr. Debashish was talking about doctors and engineers. So just to take it from there, a doctor is a doctor anywhere in the world. Engineer is an engineer anywhere in the world. But when it comes to the accountants, they are always known as local accountants. They're never called a global accountant. The reason is that every country has got a local body for professional accountancy. As we have got Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, you go to Pakistan, our neighboring country, you have Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan. You go to Nepal, you have Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nepal. You go to Singapore, you have CA Singapore, right? You go to Canada, you have CPA in Canada, and you have CPA in US, and say CA Australia and New Zealand. So every country has got a local body for accountancy, which ensures that accountants remain local only. And as Mr. Debashish clearly mentioned, that if you want to become an accountant of that country, you need to go for the taxes and the law of that country particularly. Good thing with ACCA is that ACCA is a ACCA anywhere in the world, right? Across 183 countries where we operate in, if you do ACCA qualification, you are known as ACCA everywhere in the world. There's no difference between an ACCA person who has done an ACCA, say for example from Varanasi or from Delhi or from say in Canada or in London or New York. ACCA remains ACCA everywhere in the world, so there is no difference at all. Talking about my organization, we are Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. It's the global body for professional accountancy based out of London, UK. We have got more than 500,000 students and around 219,000 members who have already qualified, and they're working across the world in 183 countries. We started our operations in the year 1904. So we are approximately, I would say, a 116 years young organization. Why we are young? Because we deal with youngsters and the students like you who are listening to us today. As you are passionate, we are also passionate. As you are innovative, we are also as innovative as you are, right? If you are creative, we are also as creative as you are. And we keep on innovating our qualification on a regular basis. When we started as an accountancy qualification, moved towards finance, and today we are talking about business leadership. Why business leadership? Because obviously accountants are no more supposed to stay in silos or work on just numbers. They are supposed to come and talk to people at large. They have to take up the senior CXO positions within the organizations. And in fact, we have a live example here, Mr. Debashish Ghosh, who is himself is a CIA, Chief Internal Auditor of one of the largest financial institutions in the country. And also he has been a president of Institute of Internal Auditors. So practically, you can see that the accountants have to come in front now and talk to people at large, not just with numbers only, but practically giving them more information as a business partner. Now, talking about various opportunities which ACC has created in India. So what we did is that we came to India 5 years back, and currently we have got 4 offices in India, which is Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Bangalore. And we are currently working with 100+ universities across the country right now to offer various qualifications to students who are looking forward to an application-oriented learning for their long term.
Great. So Kishan, what exactly you said that about being a global qualification, ACC being a global qualification. So when you say global qualification, is there any difference between the CA of India and ACCA?
So practically, you want me to compare between the two? So there is no comparison. Both are having
I just want the students to understand that what ACCA is all about. Is that as good as CA, or at least, I mean, is it considered par in other countries? I just want that.
Right. So as I mentioned, we are spread across 183 countries. And when somebody does ACCA, when somebody completes ACCA qualification, he or she can work and practice across various markets. When it comes to practicing, they can actually practice across 80 countries because we have got MOUs with 80 countries across the world. And these 80 countries are recognizing the ACCA qualification for people to come and practice there. In fact, if you look at places like UAE, wherein they do not have their own local accountancy qualification, the UAE body of chartered accountancy carries the diploma, advanced diploma of ACCA only. And people who do ACCA directly, they can become members of UAE also because of that. Right. And in fact, there are various other countries where it is there. The good thing is that an accountant remains an accountant. What he has to do is that he has to learn things which are globally relevant for him. With ACCA qualification, the qualification makes a person globally relevant. And I'll tell you how, because our certification remains the same across the world. The examination and the way in which they are taught also remains the same. In fact, the date and time of the examination also is similar across the world. So if I am conducting the examination on, say, 1st of September for the students in India, right, at 9 a.m. In the similar way, UK also will have 9 a.m. Examination. So there won't be any difference. So across 183 countries, we conduct the examination on the same date and time. And that ensures that everybody is giving the similar qualification across the world.
Kishan, did you just, the qualification that we are talking about is valid in 183 countries. Is that what you just now mentioned?
People are working across 183 countries, definitely, yes. And that's why I'm saying that, so we have got members, we have got so many, so as I said, 219,000 plus members who are spread across these 183 countries.
Right. So,
one good thing, just wanted to share one point before we go ahead. See, accountancy function is pervasive, right? So it is pervasive. That's why it is required everywhere. You might think of an organization wherein there is no accountant required. It would be very difficult for you because you may brainstorm, you may talk about it, but you won't find the answer because there is no organization in this world which is running without an accountant. In fact, our homes are also being run by our wives or our mothers who are accountants themselves.
Yeah. Right. Great. That's wonderfully put, Kishan. Kishan, so I just want to understand, Devshri sir was talking about the fact, two things that he mentioned, which I want to get your opinion also on this. One, he mentioned that students have the opportunity to enroll for CA after class 12. That is one he mentioned. And the second he mentioned was the fact that the CA can be completed by the age of 21. Ideally, I mean, the total time period that is required to complete CA. So is it the same with ACCA?
Okay, the advantage with the ACCA, and we have created that advantage, especially in India, is that a student who is in class 11th in commerce in schools can also start the ACCA qualification at the age of 16, right, while he is in school only. Why? Because what we saw is that there is a lot of similarity between the first 3 papers of the ACCA qualification and the 3 papers which are being taught to the students in the school. Let me quote the papers to you. So the first paper is known as Financial Accounting, which are class 11th commerce studies in financial accounting in school. Financial accounting is financial accounting anywhere in the world, so it doesn't change. Only thing is that with ACCA, the examinations are more or less based on application orientation. So we don't ask theory questions to the students. So they can do financial accountancy immediately after their class 11th. They can also do the business studies paper, which they are studying in class 11th only, wherein they're talking about planning, organizing, directing, controlling type of companies, etc. All those things. That is there with ACCA also. What we have done is that we have named that paper as business and technology, right? So the paper's name is business and technology instead of business studies. However, we cover some additional aspects of technology, including artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, etc., so that students are given some understanding on the same. These two examinations, the students are not supposed to write during their class 11. They can write these two examinations after the completion of their class 11. In fact, they will get their results also on the spot because these two examinations are computer based and they can actually write these examinations from their home. They need not go to a center. These are remotely proctored examination. They have to stay at home only and they'll be able to write the exam. When they click the submit button, they get the results on the screen itself, right? And the third paper, which is management accounting, it will be taught to them in class 12th, which they can write after their 12th board. Similar process for that examination also.
Kishan, I mean, so many from your answers, so many questions coming up right away. So
Sure.
First question that I want to ask you, one, is that you said that students can enroll right in class 11th or 12th into ACCA program. So the first question that I would like to understand is that not going to be additional load on the students? Because they already have to study for 11th and 12th, would not enrolling in ACCA add on burden to them? First question.
Okay. So very, very valid question, Murli. And I think this is important for the students to understand that when they're studying the similar things, it will not become a burden. In fact, it will become a complementary thing for them in terms of they writing their 12th and 11th class examinations much better than they normally do. Because see, theory remains theory everywhere. Your journal entries will not change. Journal will go as journal only, right? Or your ledger, trial balance, P&L account, balance sheet, or statement of changes in equity, which is required as per the IFRS requirements, will remain the same. It doesn't change. What we want the students to do is that they have to just put their thinking caps on and they have to think about why these numbers are coming up. For example, if the P&L account shows that since last 5 years, my profits are going up, right, continuously, right? Sorry, my sales revenues are going up since last 5 years by 3 times, right? And at the same point in time, my losses are also increasing by 3 times every year. Then what are the reasons? I should think about those reasons. Instead of me asking them a question that, okay, what is merger and acquisition? I might ask them that, okay, if Vodafone and Idea have merged, and you are the CFO of Reliance Jio, what impact you see on your organization? Rather than asking them what is merger, what is acquisition. So we will not ask them any theory question. We will ask them application-oriented questions, which will actually make them understand the topics better. In fact, whatever their teachers have taught them in the classroom, if they are able to understand it better and apply that knowledge, they can very well write the ACCA examinations.
Right. Kishan, I'm not able to stop myself from asking this question. You mentioned about a proctored examination that they can give from their homes. So you mean to say that I can keep the books open beside the monitor so you cannot see and I can just look at the answer and give the answers? Is it something that I can do?
When I said proctor is an invigilator. He'll be there in front of you on your screens. He's watching you, right? He won't let you do all those things. The good thing is that if you open your books, you're definitely going to fail. Open book examinations are not good for anyone. Right? These are tricky examinations because whenever you open the book, you don't find any answers there. So practically, it is better there is no open book examination, or you should stop yourself from doing that. So it would be helpful for the students to write the examination as normally they do, and they need not worry about one thing, that whether they'll pass or fail, because if they prepare to pass, nobody can fail them. If they prepare to fail, definitely they'll fail.
Right, great. That's a wonderful answer, Kishan. Kishan, there is one apprehension that every child has, every student has. Rather, first, before the apprehension, I think every child who has been studying in the school is looking forward to that day when he'll be out of the school system. I mean, he feels that the bondage of school is over and they get into a college and have all the freedom of going out, having adda and moving out, etc. So, but one thing, that apprehension that always is there in their mind is getting into a good college after their school. So will ACCA, because ACCA you said that they can start right from class 11, will enrolling in ACCA help them in getting into a good college?
Okay. So again, a very, very valid and a relevant question, considering that we are talking to class 11th and 12th commerce students. So, Murli, today the worry for a parent or a student is not that whether I'll score 90% or not. right? If you speak to Mr. Chopra, who is the chairman of this school, he will say that all my students will score more than 90%, right? So that's not the worry. The worry is that whether I'll get admission into a good college or not, right? Because when I go to a particular college, say for example in Symbiosis or say Christ or say SRCC or say Loyola, and my score is say 98.2, there are at least 1 lakh students, their score is also 98.2 or maybe 98.25 or say 98.3. So it becomes so tough for me to actually compete with them because the competition is too high when you look at these numbers, right? And in fact, I can tell you that I was there in one of the award functions of Dainik Bhaskar, wherein somebody who scored 95% came to me and said that I'm not getting admission anywhere. What should I do? And it was scary, yeah, for me to hear this thing from him. And he was like, instead of scoring 95, I should have waited for one more year and scored, say, 98 or 99%. That's what he was telling. But that's not something for the people to worry about, because with ACCA, when they do these 3 papers, they get a diploma in accounting and business from ACCA, which is an international diploma, and it is equivalent to level 4 qualification of European Union, which means they are qualified at the level of first year of graduation. Yeah. And the good thing is that we work with 100+ universities, as I named, like Symbiosis, Christ, Manipal, or Loyola's, or Xavier's. All those universities are offering a BCom or a BBA which is integrated with the ACCA syllabus, right? And students can actually go ahead and pursue those degree programs in any of these universities. In fact, we work with the top 8 out of the top 10 commerce colleges in India, including the best of the colleges in Delhi University, wherein people can go and study. And the good thing would be that when they go to these universities, they normally conduct an interview. And in the interview, if somebody is able to showcase that I already have a diploma from ACCA, they'll be preferred. So for example, Murli, you have scored say 95% and I have scored say 90, and I have a diploma in accounting and business, they will prefer me, not you. So you can understand.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. Yes, I mean, the advantage is very clear. So now, Kishan, I just want to understand, because this is a question that is coming from a student who wants to know that we are talking about international qualification, and we can see that the way you're saying that it is very easy to pick it up in the school level itself, right from class 11, we can start in this course. But how will it be a very costly affair? Because foreign qualifications are normally very costly affair. So is it going to be a very expensive kind of a proposition?
Okay, right. So if you go and do this qualification in UK, I'm 100% sure that it will be very expensive for you. But because you're going to do it in your school in Varanasi, and then further you're going to study in a college in India, the cost would be 1/10 of what you pay in UK, right? And I can quote this example to you that if you go and study in a C grade MBA college also nowadays, you pay more than 15 lakhs as fee. 10 to 15 is the average fee, which is there in majority of the C grade colleges also in India. Our fee is much lower than that. In fact, what we have done is that we have made this qualification very much affordable for the students. We understand that affordability is a concern in India. People would like to. So people in India, the good thing is that they are ambitious. They are good at whatever they want to do in life. But when it comes to affordability, there are concerns. So we understand that. And based on that, we have reduced the pricing for India. And there's a lot of support which is being provided in the form of scholarships. But to get that, they have to appear in a test, right? So we will conduct a small test, right, which is known as International Accountancy Proficiency Test. They have to pass that test, and based on their passing. So if they fail, obviously we can't do anything. But in case they pass, definitely they have opportunity to get a very good scholarship, which will support them in taking care of registration fee as well as subscriptions, etc.
Right. Okay. Kishan, before I ask you the next question, I would like to make a small announcement to the audience that you can type in your questions in the question and the answer chat box. And please stay tuned till the end of the show to fill in the feedback form so that you can get your certificate of participation. So Kishan, the next question that I have from the audience is they want to know what is the employment opportunity for ACCA in India?
Okay. Very, very relevant question. And I would say that for a class 11th or 12th student, it is not about thinking about the employment opportunities. It is more about thinking about the abilities one can grow while doing a professional course. So one, I can say that yes, employment opportunities are, there's no dearth of employment in India. As Mr. Debashish was talking about, a lot of US companies outsourcing their jobs to India. In the similar way, a lot of European companies have outsourced their accountancy and finance jobs to India, right? If you look at places like Gurgaon, Noida, Calcutta, places like Jaipur, Chandigarh, say Hyderabad, Bangalore, Trivandrum, Cochin, and Chennai, all these places, we have got organizations who have moved from places like Europe and US. They have shifted all their jobs to these places. So they require a lot of people who understand the requirements of IFRS and internal audits, etc. And I can tell you that we have got more jobs and less number of people to apply to those jobs. So the demand for a professional accountant in India is higher than the current supply level. And this is just because of one thing, and you have quoted those numbers yourself, Murli, that we have got hardly 275,000 chartered accountants, and the requirement is huge. I can tell you that although Mr. Arun Jaitley is no more now, who was our ex-finance minister, in his one of his addresses, he said that India needs 500,000 finance professionals by 2023. And do you know how many we are producing every year?
Surprises, Kishan.
Yeah. Debashish sir, how many people give the examination in CA every year?
I think close to
60,000.
I think 50-60,000 people appear, but pass out numbers are also not very encouraging. So there's a huge demand basically.
Definitely. So if you look at the number of people passing out, this will create a void. So by 2023 also, we'll be requiring a large number of people. In fact, with the ICAI, ACCA, and the other bodies also coming together, we will not be able to fulfill this demand. It is good that such kind of a gap is there, which means that the students who are going to pursue this qualification, they do not have opportunities. They have got opportunities not only right now, but they have got opportunities in future also. And I can tell you that because accountancy is pervasive, and if we are alive, say 100 years later also, and talk like this, we'll be saying the same thing because there'll always be a demand and supply gap. Yeah.
Right, Kishan. So we'll take a small break, Kishan, and we'll come back to you. I have a few questions for Debashish sir, which students have been asking. So I have this question from Prandeep Raj, who wants to know that why, in spite of so many opportunities in this field, why people are only going for CA and CS? Why can't we introduce the children to more new fields? Why are these options not communicated to them?
Yeah, I think it's a very good question. It is a perception issue, basically. So CA, CS are popular, and it has been there from almost after the independence. These are the first institute which were created. Like, for example, CA Institute was created in 1949. Now, because of the long time existence, these are the most popular. But if you see, there are other courses which are equally getting relevance today, like ACCA, like CIA. CIA you might have not heard even, but CIA is prerequisite for internal auditor in many countries. Unfortunately, in India, CIA is not recognized as a practice. But for the corporate sector, CIA is very much recognized. A person applying for a job or for a career advancement, CIA degree will give him a booster. The international survey done by Institute of Internal Auditors say that a person having a CIA degree, along with any other commerce degree, having 40% leverage on salary. So those are there. Taxation, you see, taxation is a huge field, which initially people don't consider. They want to become chartered accountant and company secretary.
Right. So this is again a very good point, sir. Actually, as a matter of fact, I have a question from another student here who wants to know that if he wants to get into the field of income tax, as you rightly said, that there is a wide scope there. So what is the procedure after class 12? Or as Kishan was mentioning, that a student can enroll for ACCA and write in class 11. So a student can pursue ACCA and become a tax consultant? Would that work, sir?
Yes, absolutely. You see, for practicing income tax, you need not have any degree or license like CAs have, because CAs can certify the accounts, so they can do the statutory audit and other things. But for income tax practice, you need not have any licenses. So if you have good knowledge of tax, which you earn from your commerce degree and for additional qualification like SC, CA, CA or whatever, you can easily do tax practice, and there are huge scope in that field. You will find several of people who are doing. In fact, my own tax practitioner is not a chartered accountant. He when I was young, I started going to him, and he has got a huge client base. And he is just MCOM, and he is very good at his knowledge base, basically.
Right. Sir. So, sir, actually, because you mentioned about CMA, so there is a question there. What is it, and how do you pursue it?
CMA.
Yes, you mentioned right now CMA.
No, I mentioned about CIA. CIA.
So CIA, right? CIA.
Yeah.
Sorry. It should be CIA.
So,
how do you pursue it?
You see, CIA is basically you can get a membership of Institute of Internal Auditors, and it's a global body. And once you get the membership, you can appear for the examination. Without getting into the membership of the institute, also you can go and study and do your CIA. But obviously, being a member of Institute of Internal Auditors, you get a lot of benefits. You get those online research work, so that will help you. And these CIA exams are like held online. So these exams are like you have to take a course. Everything is on a multiple choice question basis. You study and appear for this exam, and you'll get the degree. And there is a little bit of training needed, which is there. And as in CA, after passing, you have to go on learning, like continuing professional education. As CA has, it has also requirement of 40 hours of continuous learning. So you do that. So it is like you don't have to do like CA any articleship or anything, or attached to any firm. So while doing any other thing, you can do CIA.
Right, sir. Okay, Kishan, I have a next question for you. So this question is from Satyajit, who has this problem, because he's put it for general, so I'm assuming that he's talking about chartered accountancy. So he says that what happens if a student fails in the final examination, but since he passed up to intermediate level, what are the chances of employment or for that time period spoiler? Right. So this is a question that he has. So I'm assuming that he is asking for chartered accountancy. So I would prefer that you answer for both, as a chartered accountancy, CA, Indian CA as well as ACCA on this question.
I think for Indian CA, I would ask Debashish sir to speak, because what I can do is that I can speak on behalf of ACCA. Yeah. So with ACCA, we have got students who normally pick up employment after 9 papers. We call it part qualified ACCA. They have still not completed the entire ACCA qualification. And to tell you something more about my qualification, so when you do 3 papers, you get a diploma in accounting and business. That's known as applied knowledge level for ACCA. Then further, when they move to the next level, that's known as applied skills, wherein people have to go through the modules like corporate and business law, international taxation, then performance management, which is related to costing. Then they study financial reporting, which is IFRS, then audit and assurance, and financial management, right? So once they do this, and in fact, Mr. Debashish already mentioned about internal audit, etc. So many opportunities in India. In fact, after the banking fiasco, the importance of internal auditor has increased like anything. I still remember Debashish sir speaking about the BFSI sector and the importance of auditor or the internal audit there in the month of February. So we were there together in that conference, and I was given an opportunity to talk about the BFSI sector. So many opportunities there. So many people are required. So I can tell you, people who have gone through the financial reporting paper or the audit paper, immediately after completing their 9 papers, they have an opportunity. They can go to KPMG, PwC, EY, and various other organizations, right, wherein people are being hired. In fact, organizations like KPMG and EY, they have a process wherein they sponsor the rest of the qualification for the students, right? So what they do is that you have completed 9 papers, they hire you, and they also pay for your tuitions and examination for the rest 4 papers. So people have to go through the last 4 papers. That's known as strategic professional level. One good point I can tell you here is that after completing 9 papers, students have an opportunity to not only get the advanced diploma in accounting and business from ACCA, but also they can apply to a university named as Oxford Brookes University in UK and get a BSc Honours in Applied Accounting from Oxford Brookes. And the degree is similar to which is being given to a student in UK. In fact, they can go and attend the convocation ceremony in London, Singapore, and Dubai. So they get credits transfer based on the ACCA qualification. Yeah.
Okay. So you mean to say that, I mean, they staying in India, they can pick up these degrees and which is from University of London and Oxford Brookes, they can pick up these degrees right here in India, along with the ACCA qualification.
That's right. They need not go anywhere. To get the BSc Honours, they have to just submit a dissertation report to Oxford Brookes University, and based on that dissertation report, they will get this degree. For getting the MSc in professional accountancy, once somebody has completed all the 13 papers, he or she has to apply to University of London, get admitted there, and write 2 examinations. And exams are held in India. Yeah. In fact, in Delhi and Calcutta, both the places. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Kishan, I just like to understand that for a student, if he is planning to enroll in ACCA in class 11th and 12th, what is the procedure like? And what is the kind of support that he can look forward to?
Yeah. So as I had mentioned, students have to go ahead and write the International Accountancy Proficiency Test first, right? That test will check their knowledge of the basic knowledge about accountancy and business if they're in class 12. If they're in class 11, because they have not gone through the accountancy syllabus as yet. So for them, there'll be questions on English, logical reasoning and mathematics, very, very basic questions. But we would like to judge their ability towards getting into the ACCA qualification. Once they pass the examination, they'll be offered a scholarship from our side. And then the choice would be theirs to join the qualification or not. That's one. To give the test, there are no charges, although normally we charge around 1,000 rupees for that, but we have waived it for all the school students. They will not pay anything. In fact, they will get a certificate from ACCA for that test also.
Yeah. Great, wonderful. And once they enroll, I mean, will the study material and other support will be provided to them?
Yes. So all the support in terms of studies, etc., as well as the content would be provided to them by Unnayan Education, which is our learning partner. And Unnayan Education will ensure that they are being provided the right tuitions on a regular basis, which would be in the form of blended learning, initially online, and then obviously there'll be some classroom inputs which will be given to them on a time-to-time basis during their journey.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So, Kishan, I just wanted to understand, because we have been talking about the age by when they can complete a professional qualification. So, enrolling in class 11, does it have some kind of inherent advantage because they are starting off 2 years early? So, will that actually help in their career?
So, Murli, again, a very, very important and relevant question, because when you start at the age of 16, you have an opportunity to complete the qualification by hardly 19 or 20. And if you look at the global passing out age for a professional accountant, it is 25. That's the average age. Considering the various factors which are involved, there are experience requirements, there are certain restrictions in between, and considering all of them, the global average age is 25. There are certain outliers, like Mr. Debashish was talking about, people completing it by 21, 22. There are a few candidates who do it, but majority of the people do it by the time they touch 25. Here, because see, in ACCA, the experience is very much flexible. The experience requirement for ACCA can be before the qualification, it can be during the qualification, it can be after the qualification. So that's why what happens is the 3 years can be done by the student post his completion of the course. And the good thing is there that they are not paid stipend, they are being paid full salaries. So they are being hired by these organizations, they are paid full salaries. There will be a very good CTC which is being offered to them. And then they go ahead and complete their experience requirement. The advantage here is that because you are completing the qualification by 19 or 20, it means that you're saving 5 precious years in your life. 5 years, the importance of 5 years, they might not be able to understand it today, but their parents will, right? They should go back and ask their parents that what is the importance of 5 years. They can actually earn money in 5 years. They can get promoted to the next level in 5 years. In fact, they can complete their entire working life much before than anyone else, and maybe 5 years before, right? So you can retire early.
Oh, you mean to say that we can retire early and enjoy world tour for next 5 years, last 5 years?
Choice is yours. You can work extra also, so you can take it as an opportunity in that way. But the good thing is that you will climb the corporate ladder faster than the others. Because somebody
Correct.
will start at 25, you are starting at 19 or 20. So you'll be quicker.
So somebody who is completing at the average age of 25 will be working under you because you have started early.
Yeah. He might come and work under you at that age. Definitely, yes.
Right. Okay, great. That's wonderful. So Kishan, is this qualification if somebody is planning to study abroad?
Mhm.
So will doing this diploma in 11th and 12th help that person?
So there are few countries which directly recognize it. In fact, the official qualification of UK is being recognized across the entire European Union. As I said, the first year of the diploma in accounting and business is equivalent to first year of graduation, level 4, right? And when you look at the entire 9 papers of ACCA, that's level 5, which is equivalent to graduation, and the final ACCA is level 6, which is equivalent to your post graduation. Right.
Okay.
So they can very well go ahead and do a post-graduation or a higher qualification there. In fact, they can, after their graduation, they can look forward to a post-graduation there. If they don't go there, then also they're getting a degree which is graduate and a postgraduate here only. And it is very much recognized with the corporate sector. Yeah.
Okay. So Kishan, there is a rapid fire kind of a question from a student who wants to know finance in MBA or ACCA?
Very good question. What's his name?
Vaibhav Verma wants to know, which has a good score.
Vaibhav, thank you for asking this question, right? And I will not give it a rapid fire answer because there cannot be a rapid fire answer for both these qualifications. They are of different levels. Now, if you look at an MBA in finance, it has its own limitations. The finance is being taught at a very limited level in an MBA course. But when you look at a qualification like ACCA or CA, where finance and accountancy is the core, so the entire qualification, the foundation for our qualification is finance and accountancy. But for an MBA in finance, it's just a major within the qualification, right? So because MBA is a general qualification, I would say people become generalists and they go for the specialization in the last year, which is the second year of the course, right? In the third and fourth semester, normally they study the MBA in finance courses, which is very limited to the extent of the requirements for an MBA. To become a professional, you need to have the professional qualification like a CA or a ACCA. That's really very important.
Okay, great. So I have one question to Debshis sir here, because this is my own personal question that I want to ask Debshis sir. Sir, I just want to understand CA, as I know, when a student enrolls for CA, he has to undertake different kind of coaching if he wants some support. Either he can do self-learning or he has to take coaching in order to get a support to study the papers there. Whereas, as Kishan was mentioning, for ACCA, it is starting at the school level. So the support system in terms of ACCA seems to be more structured right at the school level it begins. So do you think that this will be helpful for a student, getting a structured and a more organized kind of a support system right from the school level? Will that be helpful?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is helpful. But you see, in each and every course, you have to self-study. That is the basic. So getting a structured this thing is definitely very good. For example, there are CA students who have only studied study material of the CA Institute and passed out without referring to any other material, without going for any coaching. But obviously, any coaching or other thing helps. So somebody who is diligently doing its become so he can definitely have a good chance of passing the exam. But what happens while doing articleship, while doing graduation and CA, three things together sometimes gives student less of time to do the study, so they want to go for a coaching so that they can have a concentrated study of the few important areas, or I say that they want to have a structured study. But if ACCA has got structured learning, then definitely it is very helpful.
Right, sir. Right, thank you, sir. And I also understand that you are a certified fraud examiner. So is that some kind of an investigative work? And can a ACCA, somebody who has completed ACCA, become a fraud examiner?
You see, first of all, it is not a fraud examiner or an investigation degree. It is basically giving you knowledge of how to do fraud, not only fraud investigation, it is for the forensic audit, how you can see that the transactions in the financial domain are properly done. Is there any loopholes in the systems and procedures? So this gives you, and you can see the financial frauds and in the economy. So these CFAs will have a lot of knowledge base to go and investigate, because you see, reading the balance sheet trend from the annual report is one task, but going inside the transactions and understanding. So CFE, the people who are CFE have the knowledge base to go inside the system, understand what are the procedural lapses, where are the internal control missing. So this gives them an advantage to understand in depth where things are going not the right way. So this degree definitely gives a advantage, and you see now many companies are going into the liquidation process and all that. The IBC code has been there, and people who have been given the restructuring of the company's accounts and all that. So if a person having a knowledge of forensic accounting and other thing, they can go and in-depthly study the transactions and come out with the recommendation where what went wrong and all that thing.
Right. Okay, sir. That's a wonderful. Thank you so much for that answer. So I have one question to Kishan here. Kishan, as a student, I mean, you mentioned that the examinations will be online and it will be multiple choice kind of a question. But is it all multiple choice question? Because Debashish sir was also referring to online examination pattern. So I just want to understand that all the examinations, are they scheduled? Like, I mean, how many times in a year they can give examination, or is it something that they have flexibility for a student because they have their school schedule to also follow?
Sure. So, Murli, what happens is when we look at the first 4 papers in the ACCA qualification, which is financial accounting, management accounting, business and technology, and corporate and business law, these 4 papers, the examinations are multiple task questions, right? I'll not call them multiple choice questions. They are multiple task questions, so MTQs, right? Wherein people have to think and do a task and come to a solution. So when they move ahead from paper 5 onwards, which is the paper named as performance management or costing paper, what happens is we'll have a good combination of MTQs, some subjective questions, right, and some case-based questions, right? So that's a good combination of that. And these examinations are held 4 times a year in the months of March, June, September, and December. So normally these exams are held in centers, and all the papers are computer-based examination in ACCA. So there is no requirement of pen and paper anymore, right? And the students would be doing all the examinations on computers. And the good thing is that because of the COVID, what we have done is that all our examinations are right now remotely proctored. So all the exams are currently at home. When situation improves, obviously it can come back to the center-based requirement.
Great. Kishan, I have a last question from a student here who wants to know what is the salary package that they can expect if they complete ACCA.
They are too young to think about salaries, Murli, but yeah. So, see, salaries differ from one individual to another, and differ from one organization to another, and one country to another, right? So, whenever you're comparing, never compare between two, because there will not be an apple-to-apple comparison. Because, say, for example, if a fresher in UK is getting something, you might not be getting the same, right? But their expenses are also up to that level. If you look at India, organization to organization, it differs, but I can talk about the industry benchmarks. So the industry benchmark for a professional accountant who is fully qualified, which means that he is an affiliate, he has not gone for the 3 years of experience right now. So for us, we call them affiliates in ACCA. The average CTC offered is around 8.14 lakhs for them in the current situation. And people who have done 9 papers of ACCA, the average is between 4.5 to 5.5. But this salary is something which will not be relevant to the current students, I can tell you, because by the time they pass out, the salaries would be different, In fact, in the last 3 years' time, I have seen a growth of around 45% in the CTCs for individuals. And this is not only for ACCA, this is for all the professional qualifications in the country that people are seeing that growth. So I can tell you that there is a huge opportunity for everyone who becomes a professional accountant in the long term. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Kishan, for that answer. And thank you, Deepshith sir and Kishan, for sparing your valuable time and answering patiently every single question that came from the students. And thank you so much. And it was a wonderful and lovely time that I had. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for attending this show. And please do give your feedback to get your participation certificate. And in case you have any query, you can always contact us on the given mobile number and the email ID anytime. And if you have any more queries related to your career options or anything related to whatever we discussed today, so you can always get in touch with us. The link is also provided on your chat box, so you can directly click on the link and open the feedback form and give your feedback. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Murli. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.